you're really at the center of so much of action today in, in IT, in semiconductors, of course in railways as well. Sir, on the digital infrastructure front, we've already made a lot of progress in Aadhaar, with mobile, with Jan Dhan accounts. What is and today, if you see, UPI is is being celebrated around the world, the success of UPI. What is the next phase in this evolution?
It's really an honor to be part of this ET Startup Awards, and SK, thanks for inviting. On the UPI front, we have seen the model, the way the model has been created. This has worked very well. The entire structure, the architecture has worked very well. And as all of you know, the architecture is basically creating one platform using public funds, and then let everybody else hop onto this platform, and then the entire system works very well. So the point that we debated after the success of UPI was, can we create more structures like this? And since each of the items which is required is already available, so how do we create more structures like this? So a couple of experiments that we did, first was in healthcare, second was in agriculture, and third was in digital credit. The entire architecture works very well in all the three different scenarios, which are quite diverse. If you look at all the three different sectors, they are very diverse. And the results are very good. In the health sector, the National Health Mission, they have used exactly the same architecture, and they have used many of the constructs which are already available. Your digital identity is available, the payment system is available, the document verification system is available. So use all these to create a population scale health solution. Recently, Prime Minister approved Digital Agriculture Mission, which is about 3,000 crore investment. And that is going to be a significantly larger solution because the diversity of the stakeholders is very huge. The seed guys, the fertilizer guys, the insurance people, the people who want to interact on the market side, the input side, output side, both the sides. The digital lending thing is what really gives me a lot of satisfaction. Large industries, banks would be running after them for giving that $100 million, $200 million loan. Can we create a structure where the big banks and the big lenders, they actually pursue a loan which is less than $10 ticket size? And the solution has emerged, has really encouraged us. Close to $20 billion worth loans have been disbursed by now. And the average ticket size is about 2,000 odd rupees.
This is OCEN?
Not OCEN. This is part of the entire account aggregator framework, part of that. And many startups are working on it. It has taken about almost 2 years to create this kind of structure. And the solution is very good. Now, once it is scaled up, this is going to really revolutionize the entire micro and even nano entrepreneurs, I would like to say.
And this is how we're going to get to a $1 trillion digital economy.
Part of that will be from the existing IT services ramping up, from electronics manufacturing, from having more use cases for our DPI. All these combined will make the $1 trillion digital economy.
Speaking of IT services industry, India's IT services industry, and we are of course in the capital of this very proud story. $250 billion now has been a very massive success. But at the same time, in the realm of products, innovations, it could be argued we have some catching up to do. What would it take for us to move up the value chain? What would it take for a next Google or NVIDIA to emerge out of India?
A lot of work is actually happening around. If you look at, let's say, connect this with chip design, right? Much of the work which was low value work, let's say 20 years ago, people started moving up the value chain. Today, if you ask the guys who are sitting here, who would be in the chip design parts of the entire process, from customer evaluation or understanding what the customer requires to defining what the chip would be, defining the product, and then breaking it down into the subsystems. the entire value chain is today done in India. And that has spawned many startups. For example, in the semiconductor mission, we have approved about 25 odd applications for design of chips and chipsets and SoC. Out of that, 13 have done so well, and 3 of them have actually started attracting venture capital. And some of the chipsets that these applicants are designing, one of them is going to be a totally new architecture for RF in a mobile phone. So those kind of things are also coming. So I would say that the journey is today is a consistent movement up the value chain.
Wonderful. The story of the moment, of course, is the rise of Gen AI. What kind of opportunities do you think the rise of Gen AI gives to India's deep tech and AI startups?
The more I interact with the IT industry, practically everybody is looking at large number of a variety of applications. People look at applications in healthcare, people look at applications in agriculture, in climate sciences, in drug discovery, in pharmaceuticals, in quality check, in industrial, having a consistent production. Large number of in maintenance, in operations, large number of applications are coming when I interact with the IT industry members who meet me. Each one of them is seeing a new opportunity where India becomes the AI application service provider to the world. That is one big takeaway that I've got from interacting with the industry. The second big thing is that a couple of teams which I know are working on a new way of creating a model which, see, the way it is being done right now, it's huge capital that is required. People say it may require of the order of 50-60 billion US. That kind of order of investment is required, some people say. But there are some people who are now working in a different approach by which the investment required to create a new model can be significantly lesser. So those things are also happening. So I'm seeing a lot of buzz, a lot of activity, a lot of excitement about power of AI can be harnessed in improving productivity.
Sir, as India's technology minister, when it comes to AI, you actually sit at a kind of a point of contradiction, because on the one hand there are concerns that AI will eat into a lot of jobs, and India of course needs a lot of jobs, and on the other we cannot wait and let others take the lead in AI either, right? We have to, with the 10,000 crore AI mission, you have self announced the government's intent on it. But how are you going to balance these twin imperatives of jobs and progress?
Listen, there are two things here. First is our approach in AI mission is basically the approach of democratizing technology. Our Prime Minister has always very clearly mandated that technology has to be accessible to all the startups, to academia, to students, to researchers. It cannot be basically monopolized by a handful. So that's why the entire approach in our AI mission is to make sure that the public investment creates an infrastructure which is then used by multiple number of people. So that is the first part of your question. The second thing is the harms to society. We have two different models before us. One is the US model, second is the European model. I honestly don't think that the way some of the countries have put so much regulation on AI, I don't think that's the right way to go.
We can take that as a signal that India won't be going the EU way when it comes to AI.
I wouldn't like to put it exactly in those words. What I would like to say is that the way we created a structure in our data privacy law and in the telecom law, where we allowed the innovation, the space for innovation to flourish, that space we gave, while we made sure that the harms which can come to the society, those harms are fully controlled. That approach is an approach we think we will be able to take in the case of AI also.
When we look at your own trajectory as IT minister now over 2 terms, one of the things you've really been at the center of is electronics manufacturing and indeed semiconductor manufacturing. Can you just take us through what this journey has been like? I mean, when you started talking about and pushing on these things, we were quite nascent, and you really now have the satisfaction of having seen a very big curve. Could you talk us through where the action is now and how the story has panned out?
It's very satisfying from multiple angles. First is the quantum of manufacturing which we have in our country today is phenomenal. Almost $120 billion worth. And the much bigger part of the satisfaction is the kind of talent which is getting developed, the kind of skills which are getting developed. This is phenomenal. I've given this example before, but I would like to repeat it here. One of the factories where I visited, one of the young person who was working, she comes from a village which is about 200 kilometers away from Patna in Bihar. And when I asked her, what do you feel when you are handling this very complex SMT line? She said, when I go back to my village, I get more respect than the village sarpanch or the village pradhan, because when she tells that she is manufacturing mobile phones, people say, oh, mobile phones. And that's a big change. That's a very big change. So that kind of change is happening because of this industry. Today we have laptops coming out of the assembly lines. We have servers shipped out from VVDN factory in Manesar. We have Google Pixel getting manufactured here. Apple, of course, every new model they are manufacturing here. Again, the skill level, I wish I could show that thing which Tata Electronics showed me, where a cube of solid steel is cut in microns, and if you look at it from your naked eye, you won't be able to see whether there was a cut. So that kind of precision, and I asked the gentleman who was running Titan, I asked him whether the precision is higher or lower compared to what you were doing in Titan. He said it is magnitudes higher. So that's the change which is coming, and those skill sets are now getting developed. Now we are very focused on getting all the component ecosystem into our country. We have identified about 8 submodules where we can have a large scale production, and the program is right now in the process of getting finalized. All the stakeholders are being consulted. That will give the next wave of manufacturing in our country.
And on semiconductors, what more can you tell us in terms of which facility will start shipping by when and so on?
See, the Micron facility will start shipping early 2025. The first made in India memory chips will be available. And the CG Power facility should also come up very fast. The construction work is going on. Tata's ATMP facility in Assam, construction work is going on very well. Fab, the technology agreement happened between Tata Electronics and Powerchip recently, just a few weeks ago. And what we are seeing is, we are seeing that the ecosystem which is needed, about 200 odd players who have to come in, the thoughts they had, all got converted into next big semiconductor destination. India is going to be the next big semiconductor destination. That's something which they feel very comfortable about. We had the recent roundtable with the Prime Minister, Shri Narendra Modi ji, in which practically 3 out of the 40 odd CEOs who were present, they said in the 35-40 years of their career, they have never seen this kind of enthusiasm for any country. So they see, because of the talent, because of the consistency of our policies, because of the clarity of our thought, they see India as a major semiconductor nation in the coming years.
And this momentum on the pivot away from China, which many American manufacturers are seeking, is that momentum still strong? Is it waning? Would you say it's going strong and we're benefiting
That's
from it?
consistent. And I would say the biggest factor is the talent availability. That's a much bigger factor compared to the geopolitics. And that factor, which is consistent driver of growth in our semiconductors, we are also seeing that some of the technologies which we were dependent upon other countries earlier. For example, in the case of packaging, within a short time frame of 1.5 years, the technology got developed by a team of about 80, 90 engineers sitting here in Hyderabad. That kind of pace is today available. We are seeing some of these companies trying to acquire some of the product companies and get the IP and use the talent which is available here and add the manufacturing capability. So that process is already on.
Ashwini ji, we hear from you about railways quite a bit. We hear occasionally from you also on tech. But on I&B, what can you tell us? I mean, we saw a glimpse of reforms with the announcement of new FM stations, but you've also withdrawn the broadcast bill. Could you give us a glimpse of your thinking in this important sector?
Listen, there is a very huge and a very diverse and a very interesting creators economy which has got developed. Because the way the technology has emerged, today it's possible for somebody sitting in a small village and do videos on the cuisine available in that particular part of the country or the culture of that place and become a global sensation. That creators economy is so powerful. The way that can be harnessed is amazing. That's a huge soft power that we believe that will be India's soft power. So we think in this role in information and broadcasting, there will be a huge focus on developing the creators economy. Second, there will be a huge focus on the input side of media and entertainment, which I would like to put it like this. Today, practically every film has about 40 to 50% of the value is coming out of the technology related aspects. Can we capture large part of that value in India? It's possible. Some of the interactions I've had with the industry, today it's possible to create a significantly large ecosystem where more than 5 lakh new employment opportunities can be created if we look at the technology, the input side of media and entertainment industry. So we are working very closely with the industry. That will be the second big focus. The third big focus will be that some of the traditional industries, like the radio industry, like the broadcasting industry, can we have a light touch regulation? Can we have a more modern set of regulation for them, so that these industries which are facing the challenges from emerging technologies, can they stand their ground and can they get an opportunity to transform from the old to the new? These are the 3 major focus items.
Wonderfully summarized, sir. I want to ask a quick one on railways. You're responsible for India's mobility lifeline, the face of which is now changing. So much interest in Vande Bharat, Sleeper, and so on. We are sitting with India's startups community. What opportunities are there for India's developers, small technology companies, etc., to partner with railways to facilitate the changes you are seeking to bring?
Multiple opportunities, and in fact, some of the solutions which have come from the startups who are already associated with us by now, so far, are amazing. For example, if you look at a track, the margins, distance between the 2 rails is X, the delta which can be allowed, right? That's a very small plus minus 3 mm. So can we have really accurate ways of measuring it? Can we have advanced predictive maintenance technologies which work on this? For example, some of the applications of AI in a large part of railways, can those bring new opportunities for the startups? One of the startups in Pune gave a solution where AI-based camera is installed in the railway kitchens, and even a small deviation from the standard gets flagged, and the person who's cooking gets a call. There are other applications in the way railway reservation can be enhanced. So lots and lots of applications are coming. I would like to invite all the startup entrepreneurs and startup champions to participate in this journey. It's a huge opportunity. Our capex last year was 29 billion US. We constructed 5,300 kilometers railway line, new tracks last year. 5,300 kilometers means more than the entire network of Switzerland. Switzerland is 5,000 kilometers, right? So that's the pace at which work is happening today. So we need more and more people to join this journey. In fact, while we are sitting in Bengaluru, I would like to share with the team here the circular railway, which basically has 7 spokes in this entire circle. Last time, about a year back when I had come here, we had conceptualized it and we had kind of announced that we are going to work on it. I'm very happy to share with you that the DPR for the circular railway is practically done. By the end of December, the DPR will be finalized. And that will make sure that Bengaluru and all its neighboring cities like Tumkur, like Mysuru, all these cities will basically get very closely integrated with Bengaluru. Instead of people facing the challenges of road, most of the people will be very easily able to come, commute, come, work here and go back to their home and have a good dosa at home. The second major thing is the railway line which connects the airport to the city. Today I inspected it. Last time also I inspected and had given some instructions to the team. Most of that work which we had planned is done. And now the team will be working to extend the railway station near the airport. And our Minister of State, Mr. Somanna, will be leading that effort to take it right into the airport. If that happens, so today when I traveled, we calculated the time. It's a very cool, comfortable journey of 35 minutes, 40 minutes on the outer limit, and you are right into the heart of the city at Bengaluru Cant. So that's very good project, and hopefully in a few coming months, we should be able to see the light of the day on this. The third big thing was that the stations that we are developing. Today I saw the Bengaluru Cant station. 18,000 square meters of new land getting created over the tracks, right? Phenomenal. The work is going at very fast pace. Globally, the station redevelopment would happen in like decades time frame. And the work which is happening here in Bangalore is such a high pace of work and good quality work. I was very happy to see the work, both in Yeshwantpur and Bengaluru Cant. Of course, the SMVT terminal was done earlier. And I am again very happy to share with you that the station redevelopment challenge that we took a few years ago, today, at this point of time, work is going on 1,137 stations at this point of time. And this is world's largest station redevelopment program anywhere attempted in the world. And the progress is very good. This year, about 150 stations will get inaugurated. So get completed and get inaugurated. So it's very satisfying journey. And of course, the 4 different types of trains. Now the entire bouquet is done. The Vande Bharat, most of you have seen, experienced, many of you have experienced. That's going on very well. The version 3 is already rolled out. The Namo Bharat Rapid Rail, which is going to connect cities like Tumkuru to Bangalore, Mysuru to Bengaluru. That kind of configuration, cities between like less than 200 kilometers. That train, Namo Bharat Rapid Rail, the first one was inaugurated by Honorable PM few weeks back. We'll run it for about 6, 7, 8 months, and then we'll come out with the series production, the large-scale production of that train. That will revolutionize the railway transport. The third is Amrit Bharat. First one started from Bengaluru to Malda. That train is now run for about 10 months. It's running very well, more than 100% occupancy, and like 1,000+ kilometer journey at a price of 400 rupees. It's phenomenal. It's a very successful train. So now we'll start the series production, the large-scale production of Amrit Bharat. So Amrit Bharat, Namo Bharat, Vande Bharat, and Vande Bharat Sleeper. These 4 trains will basically become the mainstay of railway transportation. So last year we had 700 crore people traveling by railways. By 2030, we'll have 1,000 crore people traveling by railways. So that's the target towards which we are working.
Amazing. You've made some announcements about easing that could ease Bangalore traffic tonight. So I think it's safe to say that you're probably the most popular man in Bangalore tonight. Anything that eases Bangalore
I
traffic
must get
is-
some good dosas here.
Yes, indeed.
And idlis also.
Sir, you've worn many hats in your life. You've been a bureaucrat, you've been an entrepreneur, you're now a very high profile politician as well as a political worker. Do you get, tell us, does it ever frustrate you when you're in politics and you have to deal with the rough and tumble of it, you have to face accusations by the opposition, etc. Is it frustrating?
I don't think so it's frustrating. The way I look at this is, every criticism which comes is an opportunity to improve. That's the way I look at it. And each of the work that we are doing touches people's lives. That satisfaction is so huge and so immense that whatever bricks come is okay, we can take it. And one has to, while being in politics, one has to have a way of being kind of positive in life. And honestly, if you ask me, a lot depends upon your approach towards life. My approach is to be constructive, focus on the work which is in front of us, focus on the challenges. And this is such a great period. We have got the historic third mandate. I think after 60 years, a prime minister has got elected for the third time. This is a historic mandate. And people have voted for the work which has been done. People have voted for the progress that has happened. People have voted for the inclusivity of the growth. So this is a great opportunity to work. It doesn't frustrate at all.
That's wonderful. This is a startup event, but everybody is in India. Everyone in India is interested in politics, and I'll end with one question on politics. In the next 6 months are about 6 state elections, prominent ones coming up. What's your prediction for how your party will fare in these elections?
Listen, our party, BJP, focuses on the real transformation at the grassroots. I recently worked in Madhya Pradesh, Odisha, these 2 states I worked in recently. If you look at the change which has happened in people's lives at the grassroots level, it's phenomenal. It's so very transformative change. Tap water coming in a village which is 300 kilometers away from the state capital, at least 60 kilometers away from the district headquarters. It's something which people never imagined. It's so transformative. It's such a big change in people's lives. Those changes are real. Those changes are genuine. Those changes are lasting changes. Those changes this is what our journey is. Right from the days of Jansangh, 1950s, when we started the journey as a political party, our focus was Antyodaya. Antyodaya basically means inclusive growth, which means making sure that the lives of the people at the bottom of the pyramid, that gets transformed. That's what we are focused on, and that's what our political thought is, and that's what we continue to work towards. Even in the first 100 days of Prime Minister Modi ji's third term, 3 crore new houses have been sanctioned for the poor people, both in the urban as well as the rural areas. So that kind of change is what really drives us, and that change is what we are seeking. That performance is what we are taking to the people when we go out and seek vote, and I'm sure people will vote for this kind of performance.
Wonderful. So much work going on, sir. All the best to you in continuing all of this. Thank you so much for being with us here today. Ladies and gentlemen, a big round of applause for Minister Ashwini Vaishnaw.
Thank you, SK.